It demands that we tell sinners the whole truth.
We will not go quietly into the night.
Voice of truth says this is for my glory.
Christian Cornerstone Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. I don't know what's there. We go. Good boy. So,
sound clip. Good boy.
Good boy. Maybe I should do that. Like, we were just talking about this prior to us recording. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop talking right now. This will be a fun piece to share. But I'm kind of actually trying to find some, well, actually just now thought of it, come up with some clips for another intro for 2025. And I keep thinking about this because Wretched Radio with Todd Friel, he is he does one every single day, or at least weekdays. And one of the things he does is he has a particular track that's the introduction for that day. So it's kind of cool to see that. And obviously we're not doing them every day right now, so we can't exactly do that.
He probably has a whole production team.
Oh yeah,
that helps him and does the switchboard and making the clips and the music. Yeah,
there's at least, I would say at least three, and I obviously don't know who's a part of his team. I'm just based off of what I've seen on the podcast and some of the stuff online, what he talks about. So I'm guessing his daughters might be involved because he does talk about them doing certain things within the ministry, and he's got a gentleman. You know what? His name is can't remember. He talks about Jimmy Hicks. That's what his name is. He's part of that. He's kind of like he's kind of in your role. He's kind of the co-host and goes through emails and whatever they get and says, okay, this is such and such. So and then next thing you know, you have the face of the podcast, which is Mr. Todd Friel. But so yeah, he's got quite of a hefty team. Actually, great stuff. I love his work. I was actually watching a video about him, or not about him, one of his podcast clips on YouTube. I think it was last week, and his personality does not at all fit his age. Because I was just watching this, and he's starting to get a little grayness, a little salt and pepper going on in his beard, and starting to wrinkle up a little bit. And I was like, I can't put this older man with this personality. I mean, I used to be able to, because I was watching some of the clips in the past, which is, I was 5, maybe 10 years younger, whatever it is. And so it's kind of weird to connect that personality to this man and then see a kind of an older salt and pepper kind of guy. But anyways, I don't even know where we're going with that, but I want to welcome.
Where have we been?
Where have we actually been?
Welcome first, maybe.
Right? Yeah. Which I think we're a little bit late on that whole welcome. Anyways, whatever, we'll go with it, guys. I want to welcome you to the show. About 3 minutes in, Christian Cornerstone Podcast. I need to get this scripted. Anyways, CC412.org, where we exist to equip the saints for the work of ministry and the building up of the body of Christ. And we could probably get away with saying that they are, this is a special sponsorship by CC412, or something like that.
The podcast name changed.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, we'll have to figure something out. Well, it'd be kind of dumb because I think everybody would already know. It's this is kind of stupid that you're saying this is sponsored by, because we already know what you're doing here and all that. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But we have been MIA for, was it? Did we break a record? 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that?
I think 3.
3 weeks. Well, yeah. Okay. So it's your fault. It's been 3 weeks. It's my fault. It's been 2 weeks. So what happened was, we'll dive into that. A couple weeks ago, and Michael, I don't know if I shared this piece with you, so I'm going to share it with you and pretend like you've never heard it before.
Okay.
So there was a couple weeks ago, I would say probably the beginning of August. And I think half of this story I have shared with you. I was asked to teach a lesson that the church I'm attending, I wouldn't say attending, the church I'm a member of, they're starting a new series called a story of hope, and this is a 40 lesson series. So this is going to go on until next August 2025. And so I was asked to teach this. I was like, okay, yeah, that'd be cool. Well, here's my particular stipulations. And primarily my stipulation is I won't do this without, unless I have somebody to mentor me within this. And my particular reason for that was this is going to be one of the first times I'm teaching a classroom. Most of my stuff has been on podcast talking to you, or it's been recorded and it's on our website kind of thing. So it's kind of a different focus there. But so I was like, I want somebody to help to mentor, to guide this, make sure it's on track and so on and all this stuff. So like, yeah, no problem. So I'm handed this workbook about a week or two later. And it's like, okay, we'll just go over this and, see what you think. What we're going to do is have this be the main focus, or these topics, but within the confines of the particular lesson, you're free to do whatever you want with it. I was like, okay, cool. So I still don't know what I'm going to be teaching on. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it first, second, third, fourth, whatever, because their plan is to cut the sections up into quarters. So one teacher will teach the first 10, another teacher will teach the next 10, maybe a third teacher teach the next 10, or they might alternate. I don't know what their particular plan is, but anyways, the idea is to rotate teachers. And so I was like, okay, sure. So not knowing where I'm going to be at, not knowing what I'm going to be teaching on, I was like, well, I'm kind of bored right now. I've got a little bit of time. I'm just going to go ahead and start writing up lessons. So I did, and I got pretty much almost all of the first 10 done. And then we're having a meeting at church, not a board meeting. What do I want to go with? Congregation meeting, business meeting kind of thing, just to kind of, they were updating some bylaws and stuff, just a whole calendar fiscal things, minor stuff. But, because of their constitution within the church, they have to get a majority vote. So like, okay. So anyways, he's counting up, they're out there counting up the tallies of the votes of this issue. Everybody's had months to look it over, know about it, address their concerns and so on. And pretty much everybody's on board. Anyways, what happened was, while he's waiting, the pastor's waiting for the tally of the votes, he's pretty much stalling on time right now. And he's saying, well, I'm going to let you guys know what's going on here. And, we're going to be going over this particular series. Here's what it's about, quick recap. The sermon's going to follow the same kind of topic. And, oh, by the way, Bill's going to be teaching the first 10 lessons. It's like, oh,
Yay!
yeah, thanks for the heads up. So
You're like, was I wearing my nicest shirt today? Like,
right.
Thank goodness I showed up and I'm here.
Yeah.
One of those.
So I had no idea up until this point that what I was going to teach on. And so like the following day, I had a first meeting with him, the whole mentorship thing. And I was like, oh, hey, thanks for the heads up, or throwing me under the bus. I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. I announced it to them, assuming or thinking that we've already had our meeting together, but then I didn't and then it wasn't until after I said these things did I realize we haven't had our meeting yet. So I thought that was like the greatest thing. I mean, it kind of caught me off guard, but as I wasn't like nervous or scared or upset or anything about it. I just, I thought it was pretty funny. Congregation is knowing ahead of me. So anyways, that's where some of this time has gone. I've been working on writing some of these lessons, finishing them up, almost all the way through getting the PowerPoints together. And that itself has actually been one of the greatest challenges, because as I'm just copy paste, from the document of my lesson notes to a PowerPoint, I'm realizing, well, maybe I can order it differently. Maybe I can add something else into it. And so, I mean, that's been the slowest part of this entire process. But from my personal end, that's what's happening here. As why we haven't had an episode is because I was really focusing on that to get that going. And next week, well, for those, whenever you guys are listening to it, Michael, do we got a date?
Next week
What's
will
next? 8th.
be
Next Sunday, September 8th, for anybody who's listening later. That's actually going to be the very first lesson. And, like I shared with you, Michael, is I got completely botched. We had the introductory thing this week, and it was rather interesting. It's kind of fun. But I was not prepared at all. The Thursday, the pastor said, well, here's what we're going to be doing. I was like, okay, cool. And usually we meet on Mondays to talk, and if there's anything I need to change or whatever, there's plenty of time to make changes or updates, write something out. And so with Labor Day, I didn't necessarily have that. So I'm getting this outline, and he said, well, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to introduce you and all this stuff, and I want you to address this particular topic. Of the lesson as the introduction. And I was like, okay, well, I only have 2 days to prepare. I'm not exactly sure what the focus is. And because you got to think about what you want to focus on, create that outline, then obviously write these things up. So I really didn't have a lot of time to do much of that. So my particular role within this introduction, I personally felt was completely botched. And this Sunday is not going to be any better. So did I share that with you? Oh, yes, I did. And actually,
but I'm acting surprised.
yeah, first time. Yeah. Well, and I guess I might as well mention this since we have, currently nobody listening, live recording, but people will listen. Trust me, I do. And anyways, so yeah, why is this week not going to be any much better as well? It's because this first lesson is actually on Genesis 1:1. And there's more to Genesis 1:1, but the particular focus of this lesson is the eternal God. And the only aspect of Genesis 1:1 that it's focusing on is in the beginning, God. So it's got a rough outline of questions within each lesson. And there's only 2 questions for this particular lesson. I was like, okay, I don't know what else I can go over with. And it's really difficult for me. I've tried to find other resources that could kind of expound on the the eternality of God. And how I'm doing this, or how I did do it, was I've written up my notes, and now I'm at a phase where I'm going to third parties to see what kind of elements in which they have. And this is like a struggle within this particular week that I've been trying to look, and I haven't found too much yet. Granted, I got a few days before the lesson, but for me personally, I've really found is what can I really stress as far as the eternality of God outside of this, and what I came up with, I could really only come up with probably about 15 minutes worth of notes at best. And so I was like, well, let's cover this particular aspect as well. And Michael, I will share this next week. Lord willing, we actually connect next week, because I don't want to share it just yet with the assumption that somebody from the church might get spoilers. So I will share that with you next week, but I've added a little bit to it, and I was at work today. I was talking to myself all day, refining this and trying to time, which I haven't even timed it. I was busy at work, so I couldn't exactly watch the stopwatch, but I'm planning on lecturing to myself once we get done here to see what's happening. What kind of time frame is this going to be accomplished? So I think about 30 minutes is what I have.
And if in doubt, you say, our minds cannot comprehend what eternal
and that's the struggle,
which is why this is all I've got for you.
Yeah.
Or you just say, now imagine you die and you're in heaven and it never ends. We're going to sit on this for 10 minutes and people would just go insane with just wait, what? Wait, oh yeah, I'm excited. Wait, I don't know what that means. Oh yes, I know what that means, but I also can't understand,
right.
Oh! You see everyone squirming and you're like, thank you, Bill Ricksecker, that's me.
And that's really the challenge, is because our finite minds cannot comprehend eternity. And I actually thought of this. We can to a certain point, because when the scripture speaks of us having eternal life, it's from the big. Well, we have a beginning. I began 35 years ago, and so for me and all believers, eternity is from the point in which we've been redeemed by Christ all the way into the future. But God is both past, present, and future. And our finite minds cannot even comprehend that. So I've got a few things for that particular issue of how I can try to illustrate it, but even that itself is going to be, child's play by comparison to the reality. The only thing I could really think of is, like the Energizer Bunny, but again, it goes in one direction. It's a created bunny. It's got a battery in there, and it's just going to keep going and going and going. So, but there is no, it went. But, so yeah, I mean, that's the fun part, as far as what's going on with that. And, what about you? What about Mr. Blondie over here?
Yeah, so if you didn't know, we have a video podcast going on right now. So whether you're on Spotify or watching this on YouTube, you should be watching along with us as well. And you will notice my hair has changed. I've become a new person. No, it used to be every like 2 or 3 years I would bleach my hair just as something different. Life gets boring, and it's better, I say, than getting a tattoo or a piercing. So any of the naysayer, like adults who are like, look at that rebellious person, I'm like, would you rather tattoos and piercings all over my face? And they're like, oh, they just shut their mouth. I'm like, yeah. Yep. And if I really mess it up, I am a guy, so I could just shave it all off. And I mean, that would also be very startling, going from, hair to then like super fine buzz cut.
Right.
But, like I can save it compared to, I think with women's hair, it's a lot scarier. If you mess that up, you messed up the next like 2 to 3 years.
Right. Well, and see, like I've seen, some of them had cancer, of course, but I mean, I've seen women bald. I mean, okay, so my thoughts is, if a woman's just doing this just to do it, I think it's like, okay, well, I don't know. There's like some sense of that's
the
not
bleaching
good.
Or the balding.
The balding.
Okay.
So like, and to me, I'm kind of mixed on it, really, because I guess some women can pull it off, whether they actually have a medical condition, for example, cancer, whether they have that or not, or I'm just bored and I want to shave my head. Some women can pull it off, and I think it's just a cultural thing or a mental thing, because we're so used to seeing women with longer hair, either down to their shoulders or longer, whatever. And then to see a woman completely bald, it's just like, whoa, what's going on here?
The person I knew in college, her mom, she told us like years after her mom had cancer. So she thought she'd shave her head with her mom. And she was like, I look like a boy. I had to put on so much makeup. She's like, I used to not even have to wear makeup. And then I became so self-conscious because I just looked like a little dumpy boy. So I had to put on so much eye makeup, so much lipstick, foundation, so that people would know
that way
I
it
was
actually
a
looks
girl.
like a woman. Yeah.
So I always think of that too. I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh man. But
Well,
yeah,
and, go ahead,
go
keep going. Your turn.
Oh, I was going to say, one of those weeks I went to a postmodern jukebox concert with my family. So that, I think that was maybe kicking things off for why we couldn't go. But they take current songs and they do them in the style of like the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Nice.
So it's like big band music with current songs that don't sound like current songs. And the performers were amazing. Like, they always say, like, their little thing now is like, in the world of AI, like, you can't recreate what we bring to you. I'm like, yeah, it's true. Like, really good performance. And like, you can tell, because even if you go to see like a pop singer or someone famous, you've got backtracks going on. You don't even know if they're actually singing some of the time. Like, there's so much fake and show that goes into it. So seeing this where you're like, everything is being played and sang live, and like these singers are actually really good singers. These horn players, these musicians, like, they're at the top of their game. So, and they encourage you to dress vintage. So I just, for guys dressing up in the 20s, like, put on a bow tie and a vest and dress clothes. So
I'm currently scrolling your social media because I think you actually shared a picture of
My
kind of
parents
like
and
a
I.
20s kind of look. I don't know where's one, but like I think you actually pulled it off. Like, I mean, if I was to guess, I'd say you're some guy that was taken at a time.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
a
one of the
fun
most
look.
recent ones? Because I just scrolled past that.
It's in the month of
Oh, okay,
August,
yeah, I
I
see it.
think. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that was a highlight. I don't usually go to concerts, but I've been following them on social media for a while. And I'm always like, they never come to California. Like they never come to where I am. And then they're like, we're coming near you. And I was like, oh, I can't use that excuse now. Like they're in the United States now. They're at, Saratoga, which is maybe 20-minute drive. And I always, with certain things in life, I think, will I regret this, not taking this action, not say going to the concert, which sounds so cheesy after it happens. I'm like, yeah, I will. When I see their post, because they always take like a selfie with the audience behind them, and I'll
yeah,
be like, I could have been in that audience.
yeah.
So that's a good thing I've learned in life, where I'm like, are you gonna be bummed out and like depressed that you missed this opportunity? If so, go.
Yeah, and I think really, I would say if somebody has the ability to go do stuff like that, I'd say, go for it. Like, I mean, I don't personally get out of the house a lot, but when I see something, I want to go do it. Like, let's say for an example,
Hitting a bird on your motorcycle.
yeah.
Sorry,
I
just
actually
derailed the train.
Yeah. Well, and I still have that little feather in a Ziploc bag on I mean, that's like the coolest monument. It's on my freezer door. So anytime I go to the fridge, I'm seeing it. It's like right in visual
Hello,
range.
Denver.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I did that.
But that
I
was an
survived.
adventure you went on.
It
With your
was.
friend, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd say if you can, because time's going to pass and you're going to wish you did more things in life. My sister, now granted, we've got different interests. And I personally disapprove only because of the fact I personally don't like to travel that much. But my sister's going all over. I mean, she does stuff like she works for a local dance company, like teaches kids how to dance. And like they do competitions and stuff. And I don't know the whole story, but I mean, within that company, she goes everywhere. All over the country. And then for her personal life, she's been to quite a few different countries. And I personally think she needs to slow down. However, that's just my personal interest. Because I think once or twice a year maximum is like the limit of how many times somebody should travel or do something big like that. But specifically, I can't really say, she should stop. It's just personal interest. But anyways, my point with that is if make these memories, because like you said, if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. And the next thing you know, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s. I haven't made any memories. I've just been stuck in the house for these past, 20, 30 years, whatever it is. So, I mean, even if you just go to like the next state over, concert or something, or, a amusement park, it's only like 2 or 3 hours away, whatever have you. I mean, go do that, because you're gonna reflect on that in a few years and be like, yeah, we had a lot of fun. And then somebody else is going to say, hey, did you hear about this? Like, yeah, we went. You should go. So, and then you got stories to tell too. So,
yeah, I bought us the cheapest tickets,
yeah.
which got us up in these bleachers so far away. But I'm like, we made it. And then we got there really early because we didn't have assigned seating. So it was just like whoever gets there gets the best of the worst seats. But because we got there so early, they had, I guess, cancellations in an empty section on the floor level. And they're like, we would like to upgrade you complimentary to get close, down in section 4. So we actually got much better seats because we showed up early. So we're like, thank you, God. This turned out even cooler because we got much closer than we would have.
Yeah, you know what you need to do? You need to go to a Billy Joel concert, because that's something he does.
Doesn't he like saves the first couple rows, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly like what his personal rule is behind that, but because I saw something a few months back, maybe last year, and yeah, he reserves the front seats, and I think it's particularly children. I don't know if it's children or just or if it's anybody, but people who are in the nosebleed section of this concert, he'll actually have them come up to the front.
They're like, I only paid $30 for this ticket.
Right. Yeah.
I'll get like a $600 or $700, depending. Some of those concerts they get up there.
Yeah, and I think my personal thoughts is there's not really because I had a whole concert phase in my early 20s, and I went to a lot of concerts. I mean, they're all Christian concerts and performances and all that, but I went to one probably about every single month. And my personal take is nosebleed section or front and center. Both of them are memories. I mean, he says like, "Oh, did you guys have fun?" I was like, "Yeah, but we were in the nosebleed section." It's still fun because one, you can make a joke. It's like, yeah, we were the not important people or the poor people, whatever. However you'd like to, justify that. And you can still have fun with it. And even so, you still had fun at this concert. And then you can go to the front row and be like, yeah, we had fun. We had front and center. I got to touch so-and-so's hand. They handed me the microphone or, whatever sort of other experiences you might have there. So I'd say both are good in my opinion.
And what's been happening with CC412?
Oh, too much. Too much. So yeah, we on top of being MIA, writing up material for these lessons that I'm going to be teaching at the church, I have been working on too much. I think actually, I'll share that here in a minute. But I recently just finished putting up the New Testament survey course. And so that makes a grand total of, I'm guessing here, I'm cheating, I'm going to the website, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nice.
No, 3. Wait, 1, 2. Well, because I skipped one and then one's showing that's coming soon. I counted that one originally. So 1, 2, 3, 4 courses that are currently online on our website, cc412.org.
Give us the names. Which one? Which 4?
Do I got to go in alphabetical order?
No, it's too hard.
Well, yeah.
We're just podcast talkers. We can't.
Right.
We
Well,
can't do this stuff.
I have a couple. One of them, I'm at a mentorship course. I'm actually planning on. I'm personally comfortable with the content that's there, but I want to expand it a little bit more. So probably 2.0. I don't know how quick I'm going to get to it, but there's a mentorship course that was one of the first ones that I put together that is available on our website. And again, it's like, I think $20 is what I set it at, just the cost of the book, primarily because the book itself is being sold elsewhere. So I kind of got to be fair to the individuals who are actually buying the book. So it's a free course. But there's that biblical interpretation. And I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, because as I was doing that, I was making it clear, or I was wanting to take the course myself to see how refined my hermeneutics is compared to when I originally took the class for my degree. So I still haven't done that, but I was thinking about that. And my personal opinion, every single Christian needs to take this hermeneutics course. Maybe not this hermeneutics course, but a hermeneutics course with strong emphasis of this hermeneutic course. So
CC412.org.
Right. CC412. If you want to learn how to read the Bible. Right.
.org.
Charlie 412. Yes. So yeah, biblical interpretation, that course is up. Had fun with that one. I did a very quick, and that was actually kind of a last minute thing that I put together because of the few courses that were up there. I wanted to make sure there was a basic getting started one. And that one's obviously free. It's just little snippets of what to expect. New Testament survey, that is the other one that's up there. There's one on Romans. It's kind of an overview of Romans. I might go back and refine that a little bit. Haven't decided yet, but New Testament survey, that's the most recent one that is out. And Michael, I guess now that we're recording this live stream, hey, we got a friend. One of the things I should probably make known to the audience is there is, for New Testament survey and biblical interpretation, just as a way to celebrate the publishing of a new course, New Testament survey and biblical interpretation, otherwise known as hermeneutics, is free with the use of a promo code. I love you too, Jeffy. It's a coworker. So those two courses are free with promo code. New Testament or NT Herm. It's letter N T HERM. NT Herm 24 is the promo code to get that for free. You will still have to purchase the book, and that is because it is a third-party resource that we personally cannot supply. But that is free, quote unquote, depending if you use the promo code or not, through the entire month of September. And in case you miss it, if you're listening to this later, I will make this perfectly clear. Every single time there's a new course that is published on this website, on CC412, there will be a discount promo. How much of a discount? I don't know. I'm still deciding if it's going to be the same thing every single time or if we're going to fluctuate it, but there will be a discount. So that's something that you can look forward to. If you miss out on this September deal, you can wait till the next one. But again, I can't make any promises as when it will be. So I would personally encourage you to act now because it's literally 100% off course.
And Jesus could be coming back any day now.
Exactly. He's going to test you before you can get into heaven. He's going to test you to make sure that you know your Bible. I think that's somewhere in the Bible-ish. But so yeah, that's what's going on. And I'm actually just started the next course, which I'm still tossing around what the title is or what the title of the course is. And it's about the creeds and confessions of the Christian faith. That particular course is actually going to be a free course because I think that's really a fundamental that all believers need. So the course itself will be free, and just like the rest of the courses, you will still be required to purchase the textbook. But those videos will be on YouTube, and then obviously you can officially enroll on our website. Whew. I got to take a break and breathe.
Yeah, and then other news about myself, I'm still looking for a job.
Yeah.
So my own business, I think I mentioned this the last time we were on, it's come to a fork in the road where I'm like, I still want to keep doing it, but I'm not as close to making money as I thought I would be, as far as like something that I can live off of, as well as support a wife and future family on. So I've been since like August, so like a month now, yay, been applying to so many jobs, and I've gotten, I guess, 3 interviews. First round, the one, it was super buggy, and it's their own product that they're selling, and I'm like, oh, you're testing it out on me, but it doesn't work that well, and you want me to help customers navigate, like upsell it to customers, get them to renew. So that was just like not a great experience. And then the other 2, I was supposed to have one today. Both of them before the call cancel. And so like the first one she sent, it was like 2 weeks ago, maybe, or a week and a half ago, like not even a personal email. It was just like through the general, like when they send, we've had so many people apply, we're sorry, we're not moving forward with you. But I'd already started a conversation with her, and I'm like, why would you not just write and say like, I'm so sorry, we've already filled the position? But I booked it the very next day. So I was like, did you really book it? Like what's happening? And then the one today, the lady interviewing, she's in Spain. So the time difference is very weird. So I was going to do a 7 a.m. call, got up at 6 before I went downstairs to hurry and like eat breakfast, read the Bible, all of that. I was like, I'm just going to check my email because I have a feeling she's going to cancel. And then sure enough, at like 4 a.m., hi, Michael, I'm off this entire week. We can't do it. And I was like, why did you send me a calendar that I could choose for this week? So I don't know what is going on.
So wait, they were off. You said they were off work this week, but they let you schedule of choosing when to have the interview,
to book a call,
same week.
And it includes like the rest of the month. But I've done scheduling for my own podcast where I've had like about 50 people at the community meetups. At my old job, I was helped with the HR, bringing people on. Right. And I've never had any of these issues, as well as they make it so easy to block off time. Like put the time you don't want anyone to book. And so I think that's the main thing I'm seeing as I'm going through all these businesses is like people are not very good at running their own businesses. Like they want you to do all of this stuff that they're not even doing themselves. So it's just very like affirming of why I want to do my own business. But then like, oh, but if you can offer me like this one, the low side was like 90,000 a year. And I was like, I could be on my way to buying a house with that much money, so I'm like,
Yeah.
and I can't do
Well,
that in my own business yet.
But in California, I mean, you got prices that are skyrocketed. I mean, is what like
It'd take a couple of years of saving that money.
okay,
still.
so 90,000 isn't I have money kind of
No,
financial
yeah,
stat.
I'd
Okay,
still be struggling.
okay, and that's what I was curious about.
But I'm very good at saving money, and since I'm still living with my family, like all of it would just be going into a high
Yeah.
interest account for.
Yeah, and I think really, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. My friend, well, his kids are like my niece and nephews kind of thing unofficially, but I was thinking about this. Like their oldest, she's like same age as my niece, but 16. And I haven't talked to mom and dad in either families, my sister and my brother-in-law, or even my friend and his wife. But I personally think, me and you, we've talked about this already. I think people need to stay home. And like you're saying your plan is to stay there, save the money, next thing you know, drop a wad of cash and buy a house, right?
Yeah, because I don't have, like, some people are like, oh, my in-laws, or they gave money for the down payment. I'm like, I don't have that. And I also don't want to expect that from whoever I'm going to be marrying, because I don't want that, not that they would hold it over you, but just that feeling. I'd be like, okay, if you are going to pay, I'm going to pay you back as soon as I can, because I don't want to be in debt to anyone.
Yeah.
Except
And
the bank. I don't like that feeling either. When I've thought of that, I'm like, how many hundreds of thousands are you in for 30 years? However long the mortgage is.
See, and my thought is, like, I was actually thinking about this today, and I know it's not something that's easy for everybody to do, but I think my personal thought is, with the whole concept of staying home, let's say roughly, I think the price for houses around where I'm at for a decent place is like between 100 to maybe 150 max. I mean, you can get houses at a higher price, but for a, basic starter home kind of thing, I think that's roughly the price range now. And so I personally think, that to, just save up until, let's say, take 100,000 as an example. And until you get like a minimum of $50,000 in the bank, that way you can just say, okay, here's the cash. And then you're dropping your monthly payments down like crazy, whatever that might be. So, I mean, that's totally my personal opinion. I don't know the whole logistics between real estate. So, I mean, I could be completely wrong on that and how it works, but I think that's a great way to, accomplish it.
Yeah, and if you do move out early, you'll just have to be even more dependent on God and Him taking care of you, because it's a tough world out there, and everything's super expensive, especially with the economy the way it is.
Yeah, and I recently just saw a post earlier today. I can't remember who shared it, but I can't even remember the dates. I want to say maybe one of them was 2021, but it showed like the average cost, the average monthly cost of a mortgage, about $1,000. And then in 2021, then we have here in 2024 that the average was, I think, between 2,000 to 2,500, roughly is what I think the number was. And I mean, I honestly hate to see what it's going to be like in another 3 or 4 years. But so, I mean, that's my personal goal right now. And I mean, related to it, actually, I was thinking about this because now with this whole teaching at the church, and from their perspective, it's kind of like a probation period, because from there they personally don't know how I teach or how qualified I am and so on. So from the pastor's perspective, he wants to see how well I do, which I'm okay with that. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm somewhat okay. I understand it, but it's like, hey, whatever. We got to keep going. Michael froze. So my thought is to try to develop this ministry. Not try. I'm not going to say try. We are going to develop this ministry, and then from this point, use my own share from that to fund a house or fund everything. I mean, primarily the ministry itself. That is the personal goal, is to get that going. Michael, and for those of you who are listening, Michael decided to rudely have technical difficulties again. We have a lot of fun with that. And he is messing with a bunch of stuff, so I know he's there. I can tell he's listening. At least he knows we're here or something like that. But anyway, so we don't have a lot more going on as far as updates. I have mentioned, there's actually another thing I'd love to share with you guys, but I'm kind of stalling a little bit, waiting to see if Michael can not break things. But yeah, we are continuously developing material for this website. I'm currently, like I said, I'm currently working on the next course, which will be a free one. And the list itself is literally at this point endless. I've got a couple notebooks. I've got pages from curriculum that I've pulled from various seminaries and Bible institutes. That's acting as a guide of a checklist, so to speak, of what courses are coming next. I'm super excited about them because, I mean, these are things in which a lot of people don't know where to look. And, they want to learn, they want to grow, but they don't know where to go. So it's kind of, one of the drives with CC412 is to be that. And my personal experience, I don't really know if we have any sort of any ministry of this type within the local area where I live. So I just use that as a personal gauge. As like, if my local town doesn't have something like this, how many other towns don't have an educational ministry? So that's one of the things that we want to tackle. And long-term goal, Lord willing, that it comes to fruition, have some different locations, or at least around America. So, and that'll actually be something that will come down the future as we continue to establish this ministry. But I think that's really all that I can stall. So I would also encourage that if you guys are listening to this, support this ministry in various ways. You can share the podcast. You can like, subscribe. I would personally recommend also leaving reviews on whatever platform that you're listening on, so that we can know that you're listening. We can get some feedback from you as far as what you like, what you don't like about these episodes, and just get some ideas from you as well. So we have that, and then also looking to develop or bring some individuals up on the team as well, in order to help us in various aspects. Hey, Michael's back.
Talk fast. He keeps kicking me off.
Fast. So, if anybody's listening to this and you'd like to help out with a pair of hands, please feel free to reach out to us, cc412.org, or you can go to our website or Facebook, Christian Cornerstone 412 Ministries, and we'll see what we can do. So, we're looking for a bunch of different aspects as far as some help. So I'm not even going to bother giving a list as far as where we need help. But those options are there. Let us know what you have available. Michael, do you have any 2 cents before you disconnect or freeze up on us again?
Keep reading your Bible and praying every day.
I think you need to get that on recording, because it seems like you share that every week. It's good, though. It's good.
You know what? The thing is, people don't do that. Even some people I know struggle to brush their teeth every day. Some of these core things, I'm like, did we not learn this growing up?
Wait a minute. You're supposed to brush your teeth?
I know, right?
Oops.
Can you believe that? The floss too, I'm like, brushing is good enough for me.
Right.
I'm going to get a lot of hate, because I know my sister in particular, like, she's teaching the 3-year-old to floss her teeth. And I was like, I'm not going to tell you, Lydia, but I don't floss unless something's in the teeth. My sister does that. I'm like, how often do you floss? I'm like, when I can tell something's stuck in there.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm kind of the same way too. We might get some backlash from the audience, but I'm 100% the same way. And like, I don't really have a lot of issues with it, because
that's why I'm like, I don't get cavities, so I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing unless something goes wrong. Then I'll make some changes.
Yeah, and I don't really get any feedback from. I go to the dentist, twice a year, kind of thing, and I don't really get much feedback. Have you been flossing? Or I can see you haven't been flossing. It's like I don't get that. So
mine stopped asking. Good.
But I actually do have a cavity though, which is surprisingly.
Oh.
Yep, I got to go get that taken care of next Monday, which is going to be kind of
flossing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all we got going on as far as updates. We got banners, chairs, yep, pretty much got
And
everything.
Bill's
taken
making
care of.
cheese, so maybe
Yes.
that'll be the. We either end it with that. Or...
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and end with that cheese. I've actually, you know what? I got to tell you this. I was at my brother's, this past weekend, and I was all excited because so far the past 2 weekends I've been making a different flavor of cheese. 2 weeks ago it was pepper jack. This weekend it's cheddar. So I'm waiting for those to get done. But yeah, I mean, this has been like a little hobby I've been looking over with, this past summer. I started off with a basic, day cheese, like you can make it in a day. And it came out very terrible, very bland. I was grossed out. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to save up, invest in the stuff that I need to make some of this cheese that needs to age. So I did.
The 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah. So I bought the equipment for that. So, and then this past weekend, I made the second batch of cheese, first batch of cheddar. And I go over to my friend's house and I'm all excited. I took a bunch of pictures of the cheese process. Like, look, this is what I did here. This is what's going on. Oh yeah. And then this, and then he's like, Bill, it's like, yeah, tell me you're single without telling me you're single.
Oh.
So I was like, do you want me to make you some cheese?
But, as you mentioned offline, like make some great Christmas gifts coming up.
Yeah. And, and that's one of the benefits to it is like, what we got one of them, 2 months. So what are we in August, September, October, November? See, one of my cheddar's not going to be done until the end of December. So the best I can do is pepper jack right now.
Toast with champagne and cheese.
Yeah. And, I actually have a friend of mine that was kind of criticizing me because I had to get a wine fridge, which duplicates the environment of a cellar, which is where you store cheese and wine. So I bought a wine fridge and they were like, it's not a wine fridge, it's a cheese fridge. It's like, no. I mean, yes, but it's a wine fridge. No, there's no wine in it. So they're pretty much criticizing me on that. And it says, well, you can't call it a wine fridge unless you put wine in there. So I'm kind of thinking about getting a cheap wine to just stick in there and be like, there you go. Leave me alone. So, but yeah, it's kind of one of the new hobbies that's taken place. I'm going to make some mozzarella this weekend, that's another,
Nice.
Day cheese. You can eat it the same day. And then I'm like trying to find some other recipes because all of them are calling for a lot of milk. Like this last one was 3 gallons of milk. And I actually had to spend $30 to buy a pot big enough to hold all of this
3
milk.
gallons.
Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah,
and
I need multiple burners, multiple.
Yeah. Like, and there's
wow.
one recipe that calls for 6. And I was like, I definitely can't do that because I'm going to have to get another pot. And
You're like rent out the local. Well, do they have that in where you're at? Like kitchen space you can rent out?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to rent it out because I
drive like hours away. You're like, I'm renting this for my cheese.
Yeah, I just need it for the day. Oh, by the way, I left the dishes for you. So, but yeah, that's been kind of a new hobby, and I think that's pretty much all I have to share. Might do some Havarti or something, maybe more pepper jack. I like pepper jack. I'm just kind of nervous that it's not going to turn out right. Anyways, that is all I have. Michael, do you have any other insights that you want to share with us? Words of wisdom, what you've been going on, and all that good stuff? And
I haven't been able to find a job, a wife, or get money as a brunette. So no, maybe as I'm blonde, maybe this is what we needed. I'll find all those things.
That was your problem. You didn't have bright enough hair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So I think that's a wrap. And then, Michael, I don't remember where we're at, but next week, let's try to dive into because I mean, one, we're 3 weeks out, and I think we promised this last time before we had to take our break. But let's dive into the Word of God next week. And I think I'm literally just guessing here, but I think we're on 1 Corinthians chapter 11, maybe 12, somewhere around that region. So we'll dive into that next week. And I would encourage you, questions, comments, concerns, ideas. Feel free to let us know. And love to hear from you. Love to get some thoughts and feedback. And be sure to check out all our links in the description. And I'm pretty much rambling at this point. Michael, feel free to take us away.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider supporting this ministry. You can do so in a number of ways. You can comment and rate the show. Your interaction will help us improve the show and also help others find us. You can share the show and ministry with your friends in order to help strengthen their walk of faith. And finally, you can support us financially by becoming a supporting member. Members will have early access to content created, as well as discounted or free material as a special thanks through our Patreon platform. And that's not all. As a supporting member, you have the chance of being invited onto the show as a special guest to share your own story. I'm Micah White, and this is Christian Cornerstone 412 Ministry Podcast.